Hello and welcome back to Layla's Writing Lab. My name is Layla. Thank you for joining me in this audio recorded video post. In this post, we will be looking at the TOEFL Writing Task 2, Advantages and Disadvantages. And in this article, we'll specifically learn how to write the introduction to this type of TOEFL essay. The first thing we need to do is to read and understand the question, and this is the question. Some young children spend a great amount of their time practicing sports. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages to this. Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. Now, as you can see, the question is not just asking or looking for advantages or disadvantages. It is not looking to see whether the advantages outweigh or are more than the disadvantages. The question is asking for advantages and disadvantages for both of them. Therefore, you can devote body paragraph 1 to the advantages maybe, and body paragraph 2 to the disadvantages. So let's take a closer look to see what I have done. As I mentioned in my previous posts, it's a very good idea to locate keywords in a question. And keywords are usually nouns, verbs, adjectives and adverbs that you would see in a sentence, and we would use synonyms of these to paraphrase or rewrite the question. And that's what I've done here. So, looking at the question itself, you can see I've highlighted some of the main words in different colors. And these are the keywords that I have selected. Okay. When we look at the words and we want to look at how I have chosen synonyms for each of these words, for example, the word some, I have put down the synonym certain. Young children, which is the adjective and noun, I've put youngsters, just one word. Spend, which is the verb, I have put the word devote, which is a nice formal academic word. Great, which is an adjective, I've put considerable, which is the same meaning. Amount, I have put period. Amount of time we're talking about for the period of time. And finally, practicing for sports. Practicing is the verb, practice, and I've given it an idiom, go overboard. And that's one thing that examiners like to see in a TOEFL essay. They like to see phrasal verbs and idioms being used. So I've used an idiom, go overboard, for the verb practice. Now, practice could have lots of other synonyms, but in this question, because it talks about a great amount of time practicing sports, that means doing lots of sports, that's why I've chosen this idiom, and go overboard means do a lot more than what you should. So here, by using this idiom, I'm showing the examiner that I understand the meaning of the sentence and the question. Okay? So, the contents of this style of writing for advantage, disadvantage essay should be 2 sentences. The introduction should usually have 2 sentences. The first sentence should be the paraphrased version of the question, and that would be using these words to create a paraphrase for the question that we've had. Sentence 2 should be the synopsis or the outline, and this is where basically you say what you're going to say in the body paragraphs. So you're giving an outline as to what your essay is going to be about. Okay. So using the keywords, the paraphrased version of my question is going to be this, and I've got both my sentences that I have written here. So sentence 1, this is going to be the paraphrase. A considerable period of time is devoted by youngsters to going overboard with sports. This is my paraphrased sentence. I've not only used some very good vocabulary here, but I've also used the passive voice. So I'm showing my examiner my extent of knowledge of grammar, complex grammar. A considerable period of time is devoted, that's present simple tense, is devoted by youngsters. Whenever you have the word by and then you have the subject, you know that that is going to be a passive voice sentence. A considerable period of time is devoted by youngsters to going overboard with sports. So not only have I rewritten the question, I've also written it in a completely different format, giving it the passive voice, and the examiner will very much like that. Sentence 2, this needs to be my outline, and I need to inform the examiner of what I'll be talking about in my body paragraphs. Now, a lot of people in this paragraph, they use the word advantage, disadvantage, but pay attention to how I have worded this sentence, and from the tone and vocabulary that I've used, you should be able to understand which aspects I think are advantages and which aspects are disadvantages. Although this may be deemed as a healthy activity, so when I say a healthy activity, this means I'm talking about the advantages. Although, now when I start with although, the reader knows that this part of my sentence is going to be advantages, therefore there will definitely be the second part of my sentence that will be disadvantages. And that's the beauty of using linking words, is that you prepare your reader for what you're about to say. Although this may be deemed, some people might think this is the case, may be deemed as a healthy activity, enabling self-confidence, enabling, it means it will give you self-confidence, discipline, and physical well-being. That means physically you'll be healthy and fit. So although doing lots of sports will keep you nice and healthy, these are the advantages, it can, however, so this is where the examiner knows that now I'm going to be talking about the disadvantages because of this linker that I've used, this transition word. It can, however, have detrimental effects, very negative, very bad effects, such as distracting the child from their studies, as well as pushing the boundaries of commitment and perseverance. So let's see what this sentence means. Like I said, we've used the word although. This may be deemed, some people might think, we don't have some people, I've used the passive here again, which is very good. It is thought, basically, that practicing lots of sports is a healthy activity. It allows you or the child to have self-confidence. It gives the child discipline, and discipline means that you know that a certain time is for a certain activity. You don't waste your time. You think about something before you do it. That basically is the meaning of discipline. So it's very good. It allows self-confidence, discipline, and physical well-being. It can, however, have detrimental effects. It can also be negative. So this is where I'm telling the examiner that these are the disadvantages of doing lots of sports. It can have detrimental effects, such as, so what are those disadvantages? This is what they are, such as distracting the child from their studies. If they do lots of sports, then obviously they might not have time to study. As well as, so another disadvantage is pushing the boundaries of commitment. Now, pushing the boundaries, it means seeing how far you can go, how much you can do something until it is actually dangerous or until it starts ruining and maybe deleting all your hard work. So pushing the boundaries means how far you can go before you start damaging or destroying something. It can push the boundaries of commitment. A child who has to do lots of sports, obviously they have to pay a lot of attention, they have to put a lot of time to do the sports, they have to possibly have an adult or grown up take them to the sports venue. So there is a lot of commitment that is needed for them to do all these sports all this time. Can they do it? So they are pushing the boundaries of commitment and perseverance. To persevere, as a lot of you know, is a very nice noun. It's a very good vocabulary word, and it means if you can keep it up and you will not, as we said on the Facebook posts, jump ship. So to jump ship, as you know, means to give up. Can they persevere? Can they keep it up? Can they go all the way to achieve their end goal? So as you can see in this paragraph, in this, sentence, I have not ever used the word advantage, disadvantage. I've used my linkers and I've used my vocabulary to show what the advantage and what the disadvantages are of doing lots of sports. Now this style of writing will definitely get you top marks. The examiner or reader has an idea of what the body paragraphs of the essay will be about, and if you use this format, obviously this will get you top marks in your writing for the introduction section. As you can see, it was 2 sentences. We used the paraphrase for the question, and then we gave an outline of what the essay is going to be about. Okay, at the bottom of this post I've just put down that my next post is going to be about writing the body paragraph 1 for the TOEFL writing task 2. Thank you very much for visiting me on this blog. Please do feel free to visit my Facebook page, and my Facebook page is at Layla's Writing Lab. Yes, feel free to visit at Layla's Writing Lab, and this is where you can comment, ask questions and share your views on the writing that we have done. Thank you very much.